That was horrible.
Hey everybody, welcome to the show. We're here. This is our podcast that we do.
Yeah, bro, I'm here. I'm in the studio.
Thanks for joining us in the studio. You have me, known local Isaac, and
What's up?
My co-host, Energy Vampire Derek.
Hey guys, it's me, your energy vampire, Derek.
He's feeling super good about the movie that we watched today.
I loved it.
And I'm shrinking and slowly dying away. My energy essence is
Everyone in the
failing
room
me.
is now a shriveled corpse,
And
which means my life is better.
There's nothing left in us.
Wait, Isaac, I need to tell you about something.
Okay, you've got about 5 seconds to do.
So, on the street, there are lines painted on the ground. Do you hear me? Right? I was trying to tell him about the lines painted on the ground. Hi, I'm Derek, and I run a podcast called That Was Horrible, where I personally, on my own, do... No, you're dead.
I found a little bit of
where I do my best at reviewing the worst movies that I do badly. Hey, will you come back to life? This bit's dead.
I found some newfound energy inside of me. I'm reborn like a phoenix.
That was a dumb cold open. We've had some dumb ones in the past. I didn't like that one. I'm going to give that a solid 3 out of 10.
Well, see, the thing was, I was hoping that you would join me and the lack of energy we have after our efforts in watching a movie for this podcast. But you went the complete opposite. You were like, no, Energy City.
Yeah, dude.
I thought we were going to start off like NPR kind of style, like, yes, hello, welcome to today's episode.
But here's where you went wrong with
Yeah,
that
okay.
thing. Can I correct you?
I'm open to some notes.
Yeah. Also, by the way, we already announced ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. Welcome to That Was Horrible. We do our best at reviewing horror movies.
Yeah, we did that.
Yeah.
I literally did that while you were dead.
But that was your thing. Now this is our thing together. Yeah, exactly. So where did I go wrong?
I was correcting you. So listen, man, if you had started off that bit more of like interesting but awful, because that's the thing about NPR.
Oh, I'm not interesting enough for you?
No, that's not what I mean. Like, you were doing like hey guys, I'm awful. But like NPR is successful. So
that's
NPR is more of like hello, we are interesting, but we do it in such
they
a
have a point.
Specific voice.
They're working towards something, whereas I was not. You're right, Derek.
Like,
no, there's a lot.
Like, here, let me read you something in the NPR voice.
Okay,
right?
yeah.
When he finds a shark that can travel on land residing in his home, an ex-cop enlists the help of a grizzled former real estate agent and an eccentric house shark expert to kill the beast.
To kill the beast.
To kill the beast.
To kill this. What is the beast exactly?
Oh, it's the house shark.
It's a house. A house shark.
But then, let me read something. I'm just making something random again.
Yeah, sure, go.
Now I'm going to do it like boring. In 50 minutes, Abram throws what appears to be boiling water on Frank and Zachary, who are asleep in the tent with their feet close to Abraham. You get the point.
You think anyone ever in their life did a honk shoe me? Honk shoe. Like, there has to be one person in the real world who like started this trend of like that being like the sleepy sound that you use when you're writing out a person sleeping.
You're so right.
Like who really? When have you ever heard a person actually snore like that?
I don't know, but I love the idea of the honk shoe.
Yes.
It's like, it sounds like somebody's name.
Yes.
But it's obviously...
Or like a sneeze. It sounds louder than a sleep sound, you know? I don't ever hear anyone that go honk shoo.
Honk shoo. I was thinking about this yesterday, but in the form of a donkey. Because like... We went and saw our buddy Seth in a phenomenal production of Man of La Mancha.
Great show.
And there are two characters. One was a horse and one was a donkey.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that one of them was supposed to be a donkey until about halfway through.
There was like a solid beat where Derek just thought one of the actors was terrible in comparison to the other one. It's like, man, this one horse is bringing it. Yeah. He's really selling it as this horse, and this other guy just cannot get up to his level. He's all sitting here like prancing around, like, you know, and then the other one's just hee-haw.
Hee-haw. But like, okay, so that actually segues into my thought process is, okay, so he kept going hee-haw, right? But I liked it better when I just heard the haw. When I actually heard the hee, I didn't like it as much.
Okay, so you're just thinking haw, haw. So now you got critiques for donkeys too.
I'm just a critique.
Donkey. Everybody's a critic.
I'm not.
Donkeys could be improved upon. Derek thinks they're too short. They could be taller, and they should probably just go haw. Get rid of the hee.
Listen, Andrew, if you're listening to this, which you're probably not, I actually really loved your donkey performance. I'm not critiquing you. It's more of like the stigma. Or not the stigma.
End the stigma around donkey sounds.
That's what I'm saying. Like there's this like cultural expectation of a donkey to go hee-haw.
Society looks at a donkey and like if you do anything other than hee-haw, you were thrown out, cast out of the town.
That's kind of what I'm saying, man. It's
burned at the stake.
But like we should let donkeys just be donkeys. If they want to sit out there and go, that's funny.
What if they flip it? They go like, ha, he. What about that?
No, because it's still got the he. The problem,
the he is the issue
because it doesn't feel real. And the reason I bring this up is because it's like the honk shoe, right? Like no one's going, oh,
well, oh no, Derek just settled this right now.
Oh my god. So it's just
maybe these guys are onto something.
So it's just like a joke.
We've gotten. Oh, I see. Oh, I've gotten to the root of the whole thing. It's a bit. It's a joke.
So like, no one's actually going honk shoe.
Yeah,
everyone's going honk shoe, and no donkey is actually going
like choking on it. Like,
and no donkeys out there going ee-haw. They're going yo.
You think there's ever been a clown that's ever utilized in their bit like a horn and a shoe? Like get it? It's a honk shoe. Yaka yaka! I'm a clown. And he runs away to the side.
That sounds like a funny joke.
That sounds like a funny character. Can you imagine if we watched a movie that had a character that was kind of a yuck kind of character?
I hated this movie.
You can't say that right out the gate, Derek. We have to spend them in disbelief. We're like less than 7 minutes deep. You can't let them know that this movie was terrible.
So, all right, on this podcast,
you may feel like we're a bit directionless, and that's much like our movie we watched today.
You know, if I were to name a movie, like the naming conventions of a movie, like
sure.
Look at the top 5 movies right now. Think of them.
Yeah. Avatar, Avatar 2, Avatar 4,
well, that's not
Avatar 6. They've already won them, though. People are saying best movies. It's crazy.
Avatar
I don't understand.
3 will definitely be a flop, but then 4 and 5 gonna really come back. I think Avatar Takes Manhattan will
feel
probably
like it needs that, actually. I feel like we can't. It's a lot of pressure for every single Avatar movie to do so well successfully. So I think we need the third Avatar movie to flop, and then James Cameron come back. He's like, all right, guys, we got it back and better than ever. And everyone's like, oh, we're so back. And it's the next Avatar. Avatar Takes Manhattan.
That's pretty good. And then everyone's talking about the prequels in Avatar. I don't know why. I don't know why.
But so this what did we watch this week, Derek?
Okay,
and
so
why did we do this? Why have we done this, Derek?
Hey, Brian, my buddy, my guy, Brian from West Virginia, Mountain Mama.
Good old West Virginia, home of the Mothman. We salute you.
You came into our DMs,
slid right in there,
and you were like, "Hey guys, I love you guys.
Hey,
please watch this movie." And we were so excited that we had someone reach out to us to offer us a movie.
Elated. Honestly.
I mean, people offer us movies all the time, but I don't know you. And I love it when I don't know someone and they offer me something. So I'm... Mama's always telling me that ever since I was a little kid, make sure you take candy.
Derek really had to watch out for all white vans in his neighborhood.
I'm gonna
the shoes too.
I'm putting pause on this. I have to tell this story.
Yeah, put your paws on the table.
I don't know how much of this I can say. Let's just say I was.
What are you about to like incriminate yourself with right now?
Not me. I'm incriminating someone else.
Oh no!
There's someone I know.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say where. I'm not going to say why because I don't want to.
There's somewhere. Who knows?
But they wear a shirt that says
like regularly wear this shirt.
I've seen it multiple times. That says candy from strangers tastes better.
No, that's the whole shirt. That's what it says.
It's just a black shirt with gray font. Candy from strangers tastes better.
Yeah,
that's
just that's terrible. No, I can't.
And I was like, I saw him and I was like, dude, what is this?
Why have you done this?
And he just like laughed at me and walked away.
That's it. Nah, you know. Just walks away.
What does it mean?
Finger guns at you. Just leaves.
Gets in his van and peels out.
Now he's going and doing a service. He's also spreading candy to strangers because it has done him such a kindness. He has to tell everyone about it on his shirt. A shirt says a lot about a person.
It kind of does.
Yeah.
I mean, let's look at our shirts.
I mean, look at that.
You're wearing, this has to become a short now so that people can see the video.
I'm currently wearing a shirt that says everything you need to know about me. It has monsters on it and all the universal monsters. That's all you need to know about Isaac, period.
I am wearing a very plain gray shirt that fits my body nicely.
It's a good, comfortable shirt.
I love this shirt.
I have a similar shirt. It's wonderful.
I love this shirt. And it has a little ghost on it, and he's drinking boba.
And that tells you everything you need to know about Derek.
Arguably is everything
Truly,
you need to know.
like I think our shirts currently, not every day, but currently our shirts tell you enough about us.
I do have a shirt on it that has Crumping Marge, which
That's a
is like my
great
favorite
shirt.
shirt.
The best thing about that is like you came to us like Santa. You came with a sack full of goodies. You're like, hey, I got everybody shirts, and you got us all different shirts. And then you pull out this one for yourself, and it's just like this like purplish pink shirt that has several frames of Marge crumping on it. It's an
important shirt.
All right, we tried to get him to explain it, and there was nothing you could have said. You're like, it's the shirt. Everything you need is right there.
Literally did explain it. It's the shirt.
It's the shirt. Crumping
Everything
Marge is
you
forever.
Need is there.
I don't understand how much more I can tell you.
You keep asking. You come to me all the time with these questions. You're like, Derek, what is with the Crumping Marge?
I told you
shirt?
to go into the woods and try some ayahuasca, and then Crumping Marge is going to speak to you and tell you the secrets of the universe.
You take 7 edibles and you buy a Crumping. I didn't do that. You take 7 edibles and you try a Crumping Marge shirt on for size, and maybe you'll get it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I feel like you did not walk into the store that day intending to buy a Crumping Marge shirt, but the Crumping Marge spoke to you.
You saying I didn't go to the store to buy a Crumping Marge?
Are you
shirt?
saying this was your intention? You went into the store. You said, "Somebody, I gotta find the Crumping Marge shirt." You had a dream that night, like a prophetic dream.
I'm shaking everyone in the Smiths. Give me a Crumping Marge shirt right now.
Where are you hiding it? I know she's here. I know she's crumping somewhere.
And then it's like Pennywise chasing me through the store. Every aisle I turn down, I see Crumping Marge at the end of the aisle. Yes. Like I look down and she's just crumping away.
She calls you Egg Boy.
Egg Boy.
Crump Boy.
I just think they're neat. Homer.
Marge, honey, why are you crying? Did you get some sleep? Marge called me a crump boy, and I don't know how to feel. We clearly have a lot to say about this movie. Brian from West Virginia.
Yeah, so we're taking a step back. Well, the reason I got on that tangent was because I was saying that I like it when strangers try to give me things.
You can't just say it again. You had a chance at redemption to reword it.
Ever since I was
the same.
I'm the worst. Ever since I was a kid, my mom's always told me, make sure you take candy from strangers. I'll never forget. Did this ever happen to you? You ever almost get kidnapped? So I was walking.
I don't remember, honestly.
I was walking on the street once, and I was like walking home from school.
Yeah.
And I think it was like starting to rain. So I think this woman was probably just trying to give me a ride home because it was raining.
Being kind, hopefully.
But also...
You never know.
You never know. But
evil wears many faces.
I remember I was walking home. I had my little trumpet case with me. It was probably 7th or 8th grade.
Cute. And there's his little trumpet.
Yeah, a little bop, bop, bop.
Bop, bop, bop.
And you know that trumpet, specifically that one, got like sat on by someone, like on purpose. They literally sat on it. Like
evil.
They like flattened my trumpet.
What?
Yeah, I got bullied a lot. Anyway,
goodness.
I'm walking down the street on my way home, and this woman peels in next to me, and she was like following me with her car.
Yeah,
right, like really close.
This already sounds sketch.
Right,
I'm already out.
She rolls down her window and she's like, "Hey, you need a ride home? I got some snacks."
Is that the tone she used? Something like that?
Well, I don't fully remember because I kind of deleted it from my memory.
Fair. Until this moment right now.
Luckily, my mom did tell me don't accept candy from strangers.
So you said no.
And I was already so into true crime at that point.
It's 7th and 8th grade?
I wasn't. That's a joke. But like, I had watched all the documentaries. I got home from school, going straight in. I'm going to watch some.
Yep. No, Mom, sorry, I can't play video games. I can't join the soccer team. I'm listening to true crime podcasts.
Yeah, because podcasts totally existed when I was
exactly. They're a huge thing. I'm listening to the true crime station on the radio, Mom.
No, it was like,
on my iPod Nano.
It was the Unsolved Mysteries and like, there's another one I can't think of the name of. But,
yeah.
Like Chris Hansen.
Yeah.
Anyway, I wasn't actually watching that much. I did watch Cops every once in a while with my dad. Does that count?
Okay, yeah, no, exactly.
Bad boys, what's she gonna do?
That's a great way to bond father and son watching Cops together.
Well. But anyway, so I didn't get in her car, which is why I'm still here today.
Yeah, you're still alive and you're able to tell the story.
There was another time walking down that same road.
Why do you have several instances of this? I don't even think I have one.
Well, I mean, the second time wasn't someone trying to kidnap me. Well, unless. I was walking down the street and I remember this was one time that why do I remember the instruments I was holding? I had one of those like glockenspiels.
Yeah.
Like, so in middle school, you were like trying to formulate what instrument you wanted to play for the rest of your life.
Sure,
right?
yeah.
That was like the thing. I had already picked trumpet, but there was a part of me that always really wanted to do. Why am I talking about this? I always really wanted to do percussion. Okay. So I actually had like
You're a drummer
I had like
at
one of those little glockenspiel things.
You do have good rhythm, so that tracks.
And then
That's the rhythm seeping out of Derek's pores.
and I'll never forget, the road was a two-way road, right? And someone crossed over the lane, crashed over the barrier of the ground, and like their car slid onto the sidewalk like 3 feet behind me.
Was your Glockenspiel okay?
I ran. Dude, I ran. I held onto that Glockenspiel like it was nobody's business.
You and your Glock are getting out of there alive.
Scary.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, that person was probably trying to kidnap me too.
Yeah, they were trying to kidnap you so hard they like saw you from afar from the freeway.
Yeah, I was a
and
cute kid.
swerved into the side of the.
The sexual predators are out there. They're driving down the street.
Oh my god! Look at that kid in a Glockenspiel. And just straight into the barrier, skidding onto the sidewalk. So Brian from West Virginia, are we there?
Are we there yet? Brian. A few weeks ago.
Brian.
Actually, a month ago now. Exactly a month ago.
We held on to this because last week we had a wonderful episode with our guests from Night Signal Entertainment.
That was
Please
so
go
awesome.
check out that episode.
Yeah, listen to that. That
Thanks
was
again.
so much fun.
Thanks again to you boys from Night Signal for joining us.
They
There
were
was
awesome,
a great time.
awesome to have on. Really cool dudes. I hope to have them on again in the future.
Yes, please. Listener, tune in soon to our YouTube channel. We'll play some of their games, which I think will be a really fun time.
Oh, absolutely.
Because they make great games that are actually very enjoyable to play.
They're so good.
Yes.
I mean, that was like, I was very honored that they graced us with their time.
It was a wonderful honor. Anytime we get guests on this podcast, it's a wonderful honor.
Not just them. I love all of our guests.
All of our guests. Thank you so much. But
anyway, so Brian from West Virginia, Mountain Mama, say that every single time. He begged us. Pleaded
with us.
Graciously asked us if we would watch,
Humbly
and I
requested.
quote Brian, a steaming pile of crap cinema that he absolutely loves.
Named
Terror at Blood Fart Lake.
Terror at Blood Fart Lake. We heard that immediately and thought, well, Brian.
There's no way.
Well, Brian.
Brian.
Oh,
Brian. There's no way that's a good movie.
Surely it cannot be, even in the way you have described it to us, right? It couldn't be a good movie, right?
Yeah.
But it couldn't be that bad either, right?
Yeah.
And so we decided to dig into said movie and
we did.
Put it to the test. We said, Brian, listen, you're the first one brave enough to come to us and say, hey, please watch this movie.
Not the first one, but the first guy we just don't know.
The first stranger who offered us this candy. And we said, yes, we will take this candy from you, Brian. And we had a time with it. We had a time with this movie. We did it. We did this for you,
listener
Brian.
out there, let this be a message to you. We'll watch whatever movie you want.
We'll watch anything, apparently.
I'll watch anything.
Terror at Blood Fart Lake. We're not afraid. We watch these movies so that you guys do not have to. That is part of our promise here on this podcast. If you really are curious about this, you're like, gee, I don't know, Terror at Blood Fart Lake. We'll check it out. We'll do it and tell you whether or not it is worth watching.
Moon. So let's just give you the synopsis of this one.
Break it down.
I know we don't normally do that right now. I just think it's important.
No, it's please, because I'm so curious. What could it be about? Yes, thank you, Derek. Now, please, you brought a movie to the table for us to discuss today. I'd like to hear about that.
Yeah, so this is a 4-time Oscar nominee, 3-time Golden Globe winner, Terror at Blood Fart Lake. Yeah.
Oh yes, lovely.
So in this film, it came out in 2008, actually, June 16th. I wish I had some saltines right now.
Yeah, just get really, really dry it out up in there. It's a little too moist.
Yeah, so 39% of users on Google actually enjoyed this film. You got 50% of users on Rotten Tomatoes that liked this film.
And that's based on the popcorn meter there,
yes.
not based on any critics' ratings.
No.
There was the critics would not speak to us on the matter.
Side note, can we keep doing this bit? I'm having fun.
Doing NPR?
Okay, we're gonna go back.
Yes, absolutely. Take me back into the space.
So Terror at Blood Fart Lake.
Imagine there's a waterfall in the room with you. If you can't have a natural waterfall, maybe go into the bathroom, turn on the faucet, and pretend it's a waterfall.
Maybe we'll do you a favor and add a waterfall.
Have you ever stood underneath a waterfall? It hurts a little bit. Maybe step away. But it's just the bathtub. And now we are enjoying this soothing sound effects.
If you like this, let us know.
If you hate this,
we can,
never tell us.
Please don't tell me.
I can't handle the criticism.
So Terror at Blood Fart Lake is a story. I feel like I have to add
all the time.
College College students go to a friend's cabin for a sex-filled weekend and are hunted by the Scarecrow killer.
Now, that sounds like it could be a good. Oh, we still.
I hear you breaking out of this.
Sorry,
and I really feel like until we're done describing the behind the scenes,
I felt like I was inside of a library and I spoke too loud.
It was awful.
Everyone in the library looked at me.
Someone was eating chips in the library. So that is what
I was eating the chips in the library.
So anyone who does not get that reference,
so episode to episode reference.
Hey, you broke out a little there.
Reference to episode.
You got to make sure you have a lot of diction when you do this.
So hard.
I don't know. I find it very easy.
I'm gonna go step inside of the laugh room if you'll excuse me.
Wow, this is terrifying.
I'm sorry, Derek. Did I break there for a second?
No.
I'm gonna go back inside the.
I'm keeping this bit up. I know you keep trying to stop the bit.
No, the bits keep coming and they don't stop coming.
The bits keep coming and they don't stop coming.
And they don't stop coming and they don't stop coming.
Came to the ground and they hit the ground running. Not much.
Can we
to
just
bit.
do NPR readings of Smash Mouth songs?
Yeah, that's not actually a Smash Mouth song.
What is that?
That's a it's Smash Mouth covered it.
It's covered. What?
Yeah.
What do you're joshing me, right?
All Star.
You're telling me All Star is not originally a Smash Mouth song? You must be pulling my leg.
Well, I'm probably wrong.
I think you're pulling my leg.
So that one is actually by.
Thank you for the wonderful work that you've done for the world, Smash Mouth.
I'm going to get some note from someone about this. Somebody once told me, the world is going to roll me. I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed.
Oh. Well, she was looking kind of dumb with her finger and her thumb in the shape of an L. An L.
It was
on her forehead.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Of course.
Well, the years
you know
start
what that
coming,
means.
and they don't stop coming.
Back to we simply must get back to the topic at hand. The people here are listening and they really want to know more about terror at Bloodfart Lake.
Worst content we've ever created. So terror at Bloodfart Lake was
see, the point is the movie was such an experience for us.
I didn't know you could fucking interrupt me.
I just wanted to say that it's such a terrible experience for us. We must also give them a terrible experience. I'm gonna go.
I just love the idea of like two NPR guys
fucking hate
each
each other.
Like hate each other, and then like you're gonna fucking interrupt me again.
I didn't know. I thought we told Daniel that he discussed this with you, but clearly he hasn't. So I'm just gonna
the last 7 years
steamroll ahead
behind this microphone, speaking in this goddamn monotone voice.
And we had to. And there was that one time we swapped mics, and it was smelly. You and your smelly breath every morning.
Wash your teeth. Not brush.
Have you ever heard of a toothbrush?
All right, I think the bit's dead. I don't want it to be, though. I am having fun. I just
it's fun for us. I hope it's
fun. I think it's been like 5 minutes. It's probably
We've subjected you to enough NPR TWH.
I'm probably Did you just put us in a little acronym?
Yeah, a little that. I've never said that out loud. That was weird.
A little acronym.
Hey, tell me about TABFL.
Okay, so you reminded me of something, and I have to go on a tangent now.
Please.
Thanks, God damn it.
Get it.
So I just watched that movie, The Electric State, on
Netflix.
And it was a $320 million flop. I've been ranting about this for days now, ever since I watched it.
But
don't watch it.
It's got all the people. It's got the Russo brothers did it. It's got Millie Bobby Brown and Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt, he did it. But it flopped?
Is Chris Pratt like what happened to that guy at KFC when he got a rat that was deep fried?
Yeah, exactly. And that's where Chris Pratt got his stage name, actually.
Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
No, so that movie sucked, man. I was so mad about it. Like, the robot designs in it and the original artwork are so good. I actually bought the book because it's gorgeous.
No,
the movie was garbage.
splendid.
So the writing in it is just plain terrible. And there's a specific moment in the movie where I don't remember the exact word, but Millie Bobby Brown character's like, "Oh, is that the Secured Robot Task Force? Who is that?" And Chris Pratt immediately goes, "Oh yeah, it's the SCRTP," and then doesn't answer anything.
Nothing.
He just says the exact same thing as her in an acronym.
Yes.
And moves on.
So just rephrases it and doesn't actually answer the question.
No.
Gets out of there.
It just moves on.
Jesus.
It really bothered me.
Yeah.
I was very bothered.
And the performances in that movie very stale. Truly, the only saving graces of them, because Derek is a great friend, and he does this thing where when a movie is bad enough, but like he wants you to know some things about it, like there are some things you could educate yourself on, like maybe there were these few saving scenes in the movie. He would do like a speed run of the movie for me, where he would just be like, "Hey, here's a good scene. Okay, skip all this garbage. Here's another good scene. Could have been, had potential. Then the rest of the movie's garbage, and then skip ahead to this part." So like I saw a couple clips of this movie, and the best part is definitely the robots within it.
Oh, absolutely, and that's what I showed you. I showed you the robots.
It's pretty much I saw the robot scenes.
Which is unfortunately the unfortunate thing about that is that you saw 15 minutes of the movie and it's like a 2 hour and 20 minute
With that
movie.
much in the budget, before I knew that, I would be able to excuse like, well, okay, all that CG to get all these robots probably got costly for them, maybe whatever. But with that budget, what are you wasting that money on? Chris Pratt? Probably.
Chris Pratt. Anyway, back to Terror at Bloodfart Lake.
Yes, back at TABFL.
An arguably more enjoyable film. I had a better time watching Terror at Bloodfart Lake than I did watching The Electric Mayhem, which is not what it's called. That's actually that crazy good band from the Muppets. So the Terror at Bloodfart Lake was directed by Chris Seaver and written by Ron Bonk, which is the coolest goddamn name I've ever heard in my life. And his partner, Bon Ronk. Bon Ronk, gone wrong. You got to throw that. It was written by Ron Bonk, Lawrence Stevenage, Chris Seaver again. I don't know why he's on here.
Hold on,
twice.
this is written by all of these people?
Yes. Ron Bonk, Lawrence Stevenage, and Chris Seaver, and Josh Swear.
And Chris Seaver again, but it's the evil one.
Yeah, but
there are two of them. You can tell how much we want to talk about this movie.
Listen, when we first started this podcast, we were like, we're not going to watch like intentionally B-movie movies.
Yeah.
We want to watch movies that are like someone tried to make a good movie.
They really
and it just didn't
put in
work
a
for
good
one
effort.
reason.
Yeah.
This movie does not fall into that category.
No.
This movie, we'll get into
It's for Brian and Brian only. Brian, I hope you're listening. I hope you're here.
Brian. It contains music by Champagne Charade, Malignant Decay, and the Ska-tastrophes.
The
coolest goddamn name.
That's incredible. That's a great name
ever
for a ska
heard.
band. Derek, you like ska?
You like jazz.
You like ska?
You like ska. I cannot find any information about this movie at all.
Oh, it's
like I was trying
tough.
to find like how much money did it cost? Like I anything.
Literally give us anything about the movie so we can do our podcast, you know?
Cannot.
It doesn't.
It just doesn't
The world wants
man.
to try to erase this from their minds, I think. They said, no, thank you, Terror at Bloodfart Lake.
But it is the type of B movie that like people talk about, and there was a sequel to it, Return to Bloodfart Lake.
Return to Bloodfart Lake. That's truly astounding, is the fact that there are two of these movies.
You know, my favorite thing about this movie, these kind of movies,
What
though,
is it, Derek?
It's like there is a certain amount of charm to just like a group of friends wanting to make a movie.
Yeah.
And I love that. And you got to appreciate that a little bit.
Right, of course. Because like
some of the things they did, not forgivable.
A lot of the things they did. But like there's something to be said about, you know, some of the great filmmakers, not even just in horror, they got to start out like this little small like class project, you know, like, hey, I can only get my buddies in here. I can't afford to pay anybody. Just like come help me make this movie.
Absolutely.
And that's great. You got to start somewhere. And I can respect that. But in this instance, I just don't know.
Yeah.
What really gets me is the fact that throughout the movie, there are so many references to other horror movies and franchises and stuff. You would imagine that there's a lot of love for it, so they would at least try to make something even close to those. But not much attempt was made, if I'm being honest.
No, not at all.
Mm-hmm.
It does have a 50% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes
with like 50 plus ratings, right? Like that's crazy.
It's like whatever. I don't know. I have a hard time with those.
It feels like a joke, right?
It does.
Like people are like, oh, wouldn't it be funny if I gave this like, you know, 100% rating on Rotten Tomatoes?
Yeah, which is fine. Letterboxd is sitting at 2.6. I think that's the same reason. Yeah. IMDb speaks the truth. We're sitting at a 3.6.
That sounds a bit more in the ballpark of this one here.
I don't have anything.
He's got nothing. There was nothing to say about it. I hope we can find things to talk about within the movies.
You can bring Bilbo Bartender out here to talk about what we're drinking.
Bilbo Bartender. Yeah, okay. Bilbo. Ding, 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 ding.
He's not coming.
Bilbo. Bilbo. No Bilbo? There we go. Okay.
Hello, it's me.
I got scared there. Legally, in our contract, you have to have Bilbo in every episode or something terrible happens to us.
Exactly,
like
because you didn't have him last episode. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah, it was a
I was on
sleep.
vacation.
You requested vacation time off. Yeah, how was that?
in South Africa.
Now, you exist within the body of Derek, so does that imply, where is South inside of the man? How was that? How was your vacation?
You're saying that Bilbo...
I'm saying he went south.
Wait.
You tell me where that is, Derek.
Are you telling me I'm like Derek's innie or Derek's outie from the television show Severance?
Yeah, so this is outie, I guess, because you're out right now. So there's an inside version of you that went on vacation.
Wait. You're saying I don't like that. I don't want my alternate personality to be Bilbo Bartender.
There's a lot going on here.
So much to unpack.
That's a lot. Yeah, can you imagine if, like, you find out about your outie on the outside world and you find out he's like some just completely different, has like an accent and a weird voice and is so far from yourself. Which is the real you?
What if my outie is that girl from Terror at Bloodfar Lake who's the crazy like 20s go-go dancer?
God. We'll get into her.
Gwendolyn Christie?
Not Gwendolyn Christie.
I love that tall woman.
A tall glass of woman there. Ooh. Bilbo, what are we drinking today?
I don't know. My throat's a little sore from the weekend I had, so my voice isn't doing it quite well.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Anyway, today you're just having some lemonade with a little bit of blueberry.
Okay, but what is this device that it is inside of? Bilbo.
Solo cup.
It's a solo cup, right?
Yes, because at the Terror at Bloodfart Lake, it's a bunch of teenagers drinking. They're doing well. I don't know if they were teenagers.
I think they were supposed to be.
No, they were.
They called them kids a lot, but they are not children, not even a little bit. Not teenagers, not anything like that. No.
You've got the blood of 37 freshly tickled Muppets. I'm gonna go.
Dude, Muppets are... Oh, okay, bye, Bill.
Soupy twins.
He was so defeated. I'm gonna go. I don't want to do this anymore. Who am I? What does it even matter?
Man, Bilbo misses one episode.
And he's off his rocker, really out of the game.
Dude, I don't want my outie to be Bilbo.
So yeah, you read the... Okay, so first you see the title, and that's already a deterrent to begin with, right? That's a bad title for a movie. It's not going to make people want to watch it unless you're a very specific kind of person that likes that kind of like vulgar, raunchy kind of stuff, I guess. But then you see the synopsis like, okay, teens going up to a cabin, classic slasher kind of thing. There's a scarecrow killer taking them out. Okay.
Kind of cool.
Sure. I could be into that. I guess we can kind of get into that. So I mean, but
and then you're like, oh, it's only an hour and 10 minutes. That won't be
okay.
too bad.
Yeah, we can survive that long watching this, no matter how bad it might be, right?
10 minutes. That movie was 4 hours.
Yeah,
long.
it was like, you believe that 1 hour and 10-minute movie was 4 hours long? It's crazy.
It blew my mind, man.
It blew my mind.
Isaac has a ad blocker, so he can't get into Rotten Tomatoes right now.
Stop.
Which is really embarrassing.
I don't want to do that. Let me do it without the ads. Who cares?
Yeah,
I can read one of them.
Nice review. Okay.
I can read one from Avatar.
Well, these are just audience reviews. So
yeah, these are all audience reviews. Well, the 2-star review says, this movie is so low budget, it should scare the crap out of you. On the other hand, due to the ridiculous dialogues, you just keep watching it. It's stupid. It's badly made to be so bad it's funny. The actors overdo it, and yet I cannot bring myself to be too negative. And I feel like I resonate with that one a little bit.
I resonate with
just
that
a little bit. What about some other reviews, Derek?
Well, Alex G says, now many of you are wondering why I put a 5-star rating for this film.
Yes, I was curious myself.
A low-budget horror comedy with a pretty immature name sure wouldn't win the hearts of many, but for die-hard horror fans with a goofy sense of humor, or anyone who wants to laugh their butt off, should check this out. 5 friends are out for a weekend at fun at their it cuts off.
It just keeps going. Yeah, there's a whole review. Find it on RottenTomatoes.com.
Oh, it actually. Never mind.
It's a whole thing.
We're gonna move on.
So that's what critics are thinking about it, Derek. What were we expecting going into Terror at Bloodfart Lake for our good buddy
segue.
Brian?
That's a pretty good segue.
Generally, I was expecting.
Oh, you're still going.
Yeah, I was generally expecting to. It was less of an expectation, more of a hope that we would be able to laugh at this. One of those so bad it's a funny time. You know, like, oh, how ridiculous, like Birdemic. I almost said the birds. No, Birdemic. So I was hoping for a laughably awful time with this movie.
Absolutely. I mean, I said a horribly great time.
Yeah, that tracks. So my first formal First formal expectation says, what's the opposite of absolute cinema? You know, there's that meme. There's that meme of that dude. What's his name? Is the director? Is it?
Turns?
It's
No.
not Francis Ford Coppola, is it? Who is it? Martin Scorsese.
Yeah, it's Scorsese.
Yeah,
isn't it?
Scorsese, right? He says absolute cinema, got his hands up. And he's like, yeah, absolute cinema. Whatever the opposite of that is probably this movie.
My first expectation is one actor will be in this movie only to be naked.
Yep.
This happens a lot with these like B movies where they're like, not all of the actors want to be naked or any of this, but they want to have some sort of nudity in the movie.
It's a trashy horror movie trope, right?
Yeah, exactly. So they're like, okay, we will find an actress to just come be nude, show off her boobs, and
Be out of your
purpose.
hair.
Yeah.
Done. My next expectation said, I pray it doesn't take itself too seriously. Because we've seen that happen now, where there are some low-budget, really bad horror movies that, like, if they just let it be a bit more ridiculous because it is, then maybe we could have enjoyed it more. But, like, what was it? Was it the Ginger Dead Man, that one?
Yes.
Took itself way too seriously.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I think it can be successful when a movie is like so sincere in its seriousness that it's funny.
But you got to be able to back
But
that
you
up. You got to
have-
have the talent to back that up.
You have to have the talent to back it up, and you have to have a premise that's funny enough.
Yes.
And I think the Ginger Dead Man had the premise.
Yes.
He didn't have the talent.
No, could
But
not
like
back that up.
something like The Monkey that
Yes.
has a hilarious premise of
Yes.
a goddamn toy monkey killing people.
Exactly.
That's funny.
You
And
got the
everyone in that
talent to
movie
back it
took
up.
that so seriously.
Not only in the acting, but in the direction as well.
Exactly.
The skills to pay those
That
bills.
movie worked
Yes,
for that
absolutely. But yeah, so I was hoping this one wouldn't take itself too seriously and let itself be pretty ridiculous, and maybe that would make it more enjoyable.
No attempt will be made to actually make a good movie. I was pretty sure that they were in this just to make a B movie.
Yep. That tracks. I said, like, one good practical effects moment. I was like, I bet, obviously, there's either no budget or very little budget for this movie, so I feel like they will pump all of whatever they can scrounge up together to do, like, one really cool kill or, like, dismemberment, something like that.
Good expectation.
Yeah, so that's what I was hoping for.
Each character is going to have like some unique personality or gimmick.
Yes.
Like I felt like again in all of these movies, you have like the trope characters, like the jock or the sexy girl who's super horny.
Yeah,
you know,
the
that kind
nerdy
of thing.
character,
the nerdy
the loser,
character,
you know?
the meta character who thinks they're in a movie the whole time.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
that kind of a trope.
The one that is a dog that talks the whole time and is like,
Yeah.
row, and
The one that's a cat that talks the whole time is like, meow, meow.
Are you doing a kitty cat version of Scooby-Doo now?
Meow, it's me. Meow, meow, it's me.
That's better.
Really wowie.
Sorry, what was that
Really
name?
wowie.
Kitty Cat Wowie? Is that your name?
I'm gonna solve murder. I hate it when the
But
murders happen.
instead of solving crimes, she solves crimes of like tax evasion and stuff like that.
Oh, okay, that's good. I'm good to check your taxes. I worked for the Meow-RS.
Let me back and look into your books and see if everything's up to code.
Oh God, she's here! It's Meow the Cat Kitty. Burn the book that says "Don't show the IRS."
Burn the book that says "Do not show this to that cat." I swear to God.
But sir, you told me to hide it in the litter box.
It was the one place we thought she'd never look.
She just goes there to poop normally.
So my next expectation was just a fine killer. Like I knew there was some like scarecrow looking killer villain in this one. So I was like, I don't think they'll be good, but I think they will be okay. And that's all I could expect from this movie.
Yeah, I like that. No effects at all. Just goofs.
Zero.
Like
Zero
I felt like
effects.
everything was just going to be bad.
Yeah, and I'm thankful that I can tell you right now there were no any like CGI kind of effects added on.
I mean, yeah, I was getting any effects at all too,
Yeah.
because like what effects
Practical or
could they
not.
add?
No, exactly. What are you going to do?
It's 2008. What are they going to
Yeah,
do?
and so my final expectation here just is just insanely raunchy and offensive.
Yeah. And mine is the same thing, just worded different. Middle school improv.
Yep. Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, that is the same thing with a different color.
Same
added to
vibe.
it.
Same vibe.
Well, Derek, we've sat here long enough. We've wasted almost 40 minutes trying to get away from this movie. And now we present to you, the listener, you patient listeners at home, Terror at Blood Fart Lake. My first note literally says 6 seconds in and I'm having a terrible time.
Oh my God.
Because who do we start out with, Derek, in the beginning of this movie?
Dude, wait, what was his name?
It was like
Ham?
No, it was like Haunch. What the hell was his name?
I'm getting there.
It's an H name.
Hey, it's me, Hambone.
Hambone.
Hambone's got a feeling that he's likely to live for the. What did he say?
He's like Hambone is like mostly certain that he's gonna live forever.
Yeah, so it's this crazy hillbilly character
in front of his like this is
cabin.
His cabin. Yeah, right off of the lake.
And he's calling people, telling to come out for a sex crazed weekend.
Yeah.
He's talking about how he's got a 9-foot dick.
Yeah,
and
but everything he says is like in the third person.
Hambone's got a 9-foot dick.
Yeah, everything he refers to himself as Hambone.
Hambone's ready for this weekend. Hambone's gonna walk down to this pier.
Hambone is like mostly certain that he's going to live forever. Hambone's gonna jump into the water or something.
Yeah, and then
everything he says, he narrates himself.
It's very funny.
It's
actually
weirdly enjoyable.
Honestly, favorite part of the movie.
Yes, honestly,
not gonna lie.
Movie starts on a high note, a high terrible note with this weird ass character.
Yeah, and then he immediately gets grabbed by the Scarecrow killer.
He's like walking out onto the dock as he's talking about himself, and then in slow motion, the Scarecrow killer jumps up out of the water and then, like, I guess grabs him, and then it fades away. So, like, that's it. But I will say, I have to mention the fact that he was wearing a Chud shirt.
Chud.
C-H-U-D. You might all remember him from the episode that we did where we discussed the movie Chud. And I mean, to tell you much, Chud is basically a movie about like these mutants that live underground, much like a Ninja Turtle would.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of Ninja Turtles, your lovely lady wife Emily brought up a wonderful point. Why the hell do the Ninja Turtles wear masks?
Okay, yeah.
What's the point?
About this.
There are no other freakish mutants walking around town.
No.
It's not like they have to protect their identity. It's not like a Clark Kent Superman.
I mean,
they can't know that I'm really Michelangelo, the Ninja Turtle. They're going to hurt Splinter or something.
Right. It's kind of crazy to me that no one's ever brought this up. I'm sure other people have brought this up before.
Oh, yeah.
But it's such like a deep, interesting conversation.
People have practical answers for them, and I'm not interested in that. I don't want to know. I want to know the logistics of why they're like, a ninja must honor the code and wear this to protect their identity.
Well, absolutely. I mean, obviously the practical reason is it looks badass.
Yeah, of course. It looks,
the
looks
literal reason is that the artist was just like, no, that's cool.
The literal reason for it is that they used to be all one color, and then they changed it up. They started marketing it towards kids, and they were like, kids need a way to be able to tell them apart. So that's why they gave them different colors, just so they could be like, that's Raphael, that's Michelangelo.
Well, you just answered the question.
No, see, but that's the thing. I'm not interested in that. I don't want any of that bullshit. I want to know why, as those characters, they feel the need to protect their identities.
I think that there is something to be said if you wanted to be literal. Yes. I think that when they were kids, when they were babies, and Splinter is teaching them, he can't tell them apart.
So he's like a senile old rat man.
Yeah, and he was like,
I can't tell these fucking kids apart.
And maybe they started with the names of each other. Like maybe Leonardo was actually Raphael the whole time.
Yeah.
But he put the mask on the wrong one.
Yeah.
So then they spent the rest of their life thinking they were the other brother.
And so like inside the house, which is just like the sewers for them, inside the house, there's a strict policy in the humors. Thank you. And they have to wear the mask. It's like houses are like, oh, you have to take your shoes off when you walk in the house.
Which is why they're always wearing the mask.
Exactly. They have to wear the mask. Like Splinter, the mask is itchy. I don't want to wear it. It's like, no, you have to wear it. And they think it's like an honor thing, but really it's like, I can't fucking tell you kids apart if you don't wear the mask.
Well, I don't know who's who. I love this image in my brain. All four of them are sitting on the couch eating pizza.
Yeah.
And they're it's laundry day.
Okay.
And they've all taken off their masks to walk. You see on the side, Splinter walks in and he's like, hey, Raphael. And then he notices they're all not wearing their masks. And he looks directly in the camera. Uh-oh. And then he just turns right around and leaves the room because he doesn't know.
He doesn't
want to out himself.
Thought.
He doesn't want anyone to know that he doesn't know who they are. But Splinter's a wise man.
But that means there has to be moments where like maybe he catches them one time. He's like, Michelangelo, this is the advice I would give to your brother. He's like, I'm Donatello. This was a test, and you passed. You passed another ninja test, and I'm proud of you, Donatello.
Oh, this is so funny. The sitcom potential with this is so good. And but what's her name? What's the girl's name?
April O'Neil.
I was trying to call her Amber. Mm-hmm. April. I can totally see her like going out on a date with one of them.
Yes.
And then being like, oh, I love you so much, Donatello.
Donatello? It's me, Leonardo.
Yeah, exactly. You get it.
It's like the ultimate thing when people are like, could you trust dating a twin? What if they like pulled this prank on you? Because I feel like the Ninja Turtles would also do that.
Absolutely.
Because they are teenage Ninja Turtles, right?
Yeah.
So like teenagers would try to pull a fast one on it. Like, tricked you. Yeah, we slept together. I'm actually Leonardo. Whoa.
Can we get AMNT? Adult Mutant Ninja
Turtles, but they're living really dull, boring lives.
Desk jobs. Like one
and
of them
they're
is a
struggling
drug
with their
addict.
identity because they get away from it. They stop doing the ninja thing. They're like, we haven't done that since we were kids. And they're like, who am I without them? I'm the red one.
Like a deep existential A24 movie. That's about the Ninja Turtles.
Yes. And they haven't spoken in years. They get together because one of them died. And so it's like them getting back together for the funeral for it. And
Splinter dies.
Splinter dies. That's what gets them together, right? He was an old rat man. Yeah. He probably, how long do rats live anyway?
And then they're all around the casket and you see Splinter's ghost. And he's like trying to figure out who they are.
he wants to give them like some advice from beyond the grave. He's like,
who the hell? They're not.
I don't remember which one it is.
But then he notices that they're all wearing their colored ties.
Yes. It's like, thank God.
Thank God.
He comes up to he's like, Raphael, I have some words to give you from beyond the grave. Oh no, I'm Donatello. I kind of decided when I became an adult that red was kind of more my color. You kind of decided that for me when I was a kid, and I hated purple. Like it's not my thing.
So which one's the one that's like a goof, the little goofy guy?
The goofy guy, that's Michelangelo.
Okay, I thought it was Michelangelo.
Yeah,
totally.
He's like the silly comedian guy.
Yeah. What if he becomes a drug addict?
Okay, yeah.
And so like the three of them, the other ones are like more successful. Like one's a television host.
What if he like can't give it up?
Yeah.
He's like, and so like he's like stitched together like all four colors on his mask.
Yes.
And he's holding all the websites.
Yes.
I'm the Ninja Turtles. I'm all of them at once.
And he's out
They
fighting
live on
crime
through
still.
me.
And the only reason he's doing it is because he takes the drugs from the drug lords that he's taking down.
Yes.
It's how he fuels his addiction
So
to
he's
both
like kind of doing
drugs
a good thing, but not at the same time. He's fueling his
crime.
addiction. And his brothers have to have they have to have an intervention where they're like, Mikey, listen, you got to give up the shtick. We were kids when we did that. Our bodies can't handle it anymore. Oh no, Shredder's here.
Okay, and then now think.
And he goes and destroys the paper shredder in the office with them.
Hey,
so much potential.
If you could, did you get that message I sent you? If you could just shred those. Shred!
Ah! He's got his PTSD from it.
Okay, but then think, what if we get a Golden Girls style spinoff?
Oh, so old.
Yeah, so senile. Ninja Turtle.
But
senior
I feel like it'd be like EMNT, like elderly mutant Ninja Turtles. Senior
works
good
too.
Yeah.
But it all starts like the intro video.
I like
is
the thought of them like reintegrating their weapons into like walkers or something like that. Like I think that'd be fun.
So good.
But the intro.
So the intro like shows them like growing up with Splinter,
for being a friend.
and it shows like them being friends, and then it like goes through their lives. They're like building families and
of course
like having little ninja babies, and then it shows,
they're having
like,
their freak children with April O'Neil and this Ninja Turtle crossbred together.
But all of them individually married her at a different point in their lives and only had babies with her.
Yes.
So she's the mother to like 30 kids.
Yeah. I mean, like, you have to imagine, like, a sea turtle gives birth to, like, so many eggs at once.
Exactly.
And so it probably works the same way for her.
Oh, they're all like little babies.
Oh, God. It's like a human with, like, a turtle shell, like, fused to its back.
Anyway, so you get to, like, halfway through the intro and it goes, thank you for being a friend. Because it's now
it's sad. They changed it up.
And you see the three of them standing around the grave of Michelangelo, who succumbed to his addiction.
Oh, God.
And the first episode is them sitting around a table with Michelangelo's ashes in a little turtle-shaped jar.
Oh, God.
This is terrible. And Splinter's there. Splinter's there as a ghost. And he's just standing over them. The whole show is still the shtick that he can't tell them apart.
Through 3 seasons seasons of this. We've got the Teenage Mutant Ninja. We can even go further back to Baby Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, you gotta start
You
at
still
Baby-
can't tell them apart.
Baby Mutant
So you
Ninja
got
Turtles.
Baby Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Adult Mutant Ninja Turtles, Senior Mutant Ninja Turtles. He's still, this fucker, in life, he lives in death as well, cannot tell these damn turtles apart.
Literally the whole shtick the entire time is that he can't tell them apart. And there's like moments where he's going in for a cup of ghost coffee and he sees him. Oh, Donatello. Or hey, Michelangelo, I thought you were
Oh, God. I'm just gonna. He just disappears out of nowhere. I like the thought of like one of the in the younger days, one of the episodes where like the entire shtick is like the Ninja Turtles are doing their thing, and Splinter's following them around with like a cattle prod, and it's got like the shape of their first initial on it. He's trying to brand them, so he's like, you can't fucking take this off anymore.
brand their shell.
But it's one of those funny bits where like he keeps missing. He's so close, like he like brands himself a couple
Almost got
times.
you.
Oh, I almost got you, you sneaky turtles.
When they find his dead body later on in life, and they're like putting him in his clothes to be buried in, they just see he's like covered in the first letter of all of their names.
It's a lot of just like L's and D's and M's. Like what? Damn, Splinter was tatted up. Maybe Master Splinter had a crazy, complicated life that we knew nothing about. It really makes you think, wow.
Well, you're an idiot, Michelangelo. Dang it, Donatello.
And then it goes on, and now one of them also can't start telling them apart. That's in the elderly, in the senior episodes. They have this whole bit where like now one of them they're forgetting each other. Yeah. They're mixing it all up. So anyway, that's our proposal for a sitcom series with the Ninja Turtles.
I did not expect that bit. You said that you had something you wanted to bring up about Ninja Turtles today, and I looked at you like
Emily just
crazy.
brought up a good point that I feel like had a lot of legs on it. I thought it was a really funny thing to discuss.
Incredible, man.
So yeah, all of that because the main character, the opening character of Hambone in the movie Terror at Bloodfart Lake wore a Chud shirt, and that's all I have to say about that.
Chud is basically a horror movie version of Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. So yeah, the starting character Hambone dies at the killer jumping out of the water in slow motion. So then we have a sequence. It's the opening credits where it's just this one woman. So the opening credits start, and it's basically the sequence of the one character that I assume Derek was like thinking about when he was like, oh, there's one character whose sole existence is to get nude at some point in the movie.
Absolutely.
Or it's one of those where it's like probably the director's girlfriend or something. We don't know.
Something like that.
So it's a sequence of like this. How would you describe the music playing over this?
I don't remember what the music here was. With this,
it was
ska?
like I think you described it as like what your band, the kind of music your band did in like high school.
Oh yeah, it was I call it middle school core.
Yes,
because it's like very emo, very punk, like Green Day, My Chemical Romance style.
Yes, exactly.
Like, some 41.
But like wannabe My Chemical Romance kind of stuff.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. More like wannabe Blink-182.
Yes, yeah, that's a great way to put it. But so yeah, that's several shots of this woman just like doing some kind of like karate moves toward the camera, and it's like, okay, that's cool, I guess. We actually saw a lot of this in the trailer for the movie. The weirdest part that never comes back, is never explained, in the middle, what?
Her legs?
Oh, that too. Yeah, there's a bit where she's got ropes attached to her like her heels and are like spreading them apart for no reason.
Well, I think she was trying to like pull them closed.
I have no idea.
It was a sex thing, probably.
It felt like kind of a sex thing for no reason. The strangest part about this, and you can talk about how they are listed in the top cast for this movie, there's one bit where there is a person with like an ape mask on their face.
Yep.
And she like reaches into her shirt, pulls out a wad of cash, and hands the cash to this ape person.
Yep.
What the hell is that about, man? What did that have to do with anything?
I don't know. But here's the thing about it.
Yes.
I mean, there's a lot about it.
There's a lot. There's a lot to unpack here. Why?
This person's name on IMDb is Teen Ape.
Yes.
And their character name is also Teen Ape.
They played Teen Ape.
There is also another person credited as Teen Ape, and their name is Casey Boker.
Okay. So what? So there was one shot where there was a real teen ape, and then the other one they got an actor to play it?
I don't know, but then if you click on them, they've been in 32 movies as Teen Ape.
As Teen Ape?
Well, not in all of them, but in almost all of them. Almost all of them.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah.
Are they all movies done by this director or company or whatever?
A lot of them are.
That tracks.
You got...
Because the opening credits tell us it is literally done by like a low budget productions or something like that.
Yeah.
That's literally what they call themselves.
Don't forget about the movie that they were in called Sex Squatch, which is like Sasquatch, but sex.
Or Sex Squatch 2, because there are two of them.
Yeah. Mulva, also a movie that this guy made, which you can go ahead and... Anal Paprika is another one. You got three of those. You got Anal Paprika 2, Vampire Killers. Anal Paprika 3, Menage a Death.
What the hell?
I don't know, man. You start opening your eyes.
There's a whole side of the world that we don't know about. We're really learning a lot about the world and how people function. But so yeah, anyway, the opening credits happened, and that was just one weird thing that happened amidst it, and then it just stopped. So we don't see that character, this main girl, whose name, by the way, is Thunder Ambrosia. That is her character's name. We don't see her for a minute.
It's honestly a dope-ass name.
It's a pretty sick name, honestly.
I wish my name was Thunder Ambrosia.
There is some interesting naming conventions within this movie. You got Hambone, you got Thunder Ambrosia.
Gwen.
It's crazy names. Oh, yeah, Zeebs. Zebes, Zeebs.
Jimmy Van Brunt.
Jimmy Van Brunt, yeah, like what?
Snake.
Like, why? Why
There's
have they
a girl
done this?
who changed her name to Sally because she related with the character from Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah, so should we get into that? Because, yeah, I literally wrote here, every character here is unbearable. We see the group of teens, supposedly teens, that are on their way to Bloodfart Lake.
The only one who was a team was that ape who I thought was their mom.
Teen ape, yeah. But so... We run into them. They ran out of gas in the middle of the woods, and while they're there, they run into some hick guy named Leo, who is clearly just some kid in a wig and a mustache. And he's telling them about how, like,
he's not a kid, he's like an old man.
Yeah, he's like, you can't go up to Bloodfart Lake. It's dangerous up there. And they're like, whatever, old man, we're going to go anyway. But
yeah, Hambone told us to go up there.
Yeah, they're going to meet their buddy Hambone, who they do not know is dead right now, right? Yep. But just in this one scene where we see all of these friends together and this Leo character who's this gruff hick guy, like, we learn too much about them and their archetypes.
Far too much.
Like calling it already, like Derek's prediction about like just these very unique characters, like you described it, like right off the bat.
I was right on the money on that.
No, it's like, so what kind of characters are we working with here?
Well, you got Snake. Snake says 3 words: fucking A, and hell yeah,
or like all right, yeah, that's it.
Fucking A.
All right.
That's
literally, it's like he's stuck saying those 2 words. That's all. He's like a Pokemon.
Do you think he's okay?
I don't know if he's okay now that I'm thinking about it.
He dies. But
these characters are such caricatures of people. Because then you have Sally, who, yes, as Derek mentioned, renamed herself after watching Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah. This is the type of person that everyone knew someone like this in middle school.
Yes.
Literally everyone knew someone like this who was like super, super like wannabe goth, spent all of their money at Hot Topic, like covers their body in tattoos of Nightmare Before Christmas and only Nightmare Before Christmas.
I have to backtrack because people do this all the time. It is Henry Selick's Nightmare Before Christmas, like from the mind of Tim Burton, but Henry Selick is the one that directed it. It's an important distinction because it happens all the time. Anyway, but yeah, so and this girl would probably I don't know if she would know that because she's so simply grasps to the goth mindset, which just means liking Hot Topic and Tim Burton,
and
so
that's
like the two
literally
things.
the two things. And I mean there were people like that were cool. That's not the problem. It's more of like she takes all of the bad traits of those kind of people and becomes that.
But like every one of these characters is like one of the worst people you knew throughout middle school, where they were just so unbearable.
Oh, absolutely.
In how heavy they stuck to the shtick of what they were doing.
I had a friend who was like this. It honestly, there were multiple times she would say a line that I was like, I had a friend
just
who
the cringiest kind of people you can imagine. She keeps referring to her boyfriend as like, isn't he such a dark prince?
Oh
like,
my God.
Stop. It's so hard to get through. And then we have is it Lee? No, what's his name? Like the most normal character. No, because Leo's the.
Oh no, you're right.
The not prospector guy. What am I trying to say? No, Ben. I think it's Ben. Yes, Ben is like the straight man in this one, right? And he's honestly the most boring actor in the whole thing.
Yeah, so he talks like this a lot.
Yeah. He just
pretty much the whole time.
He truly feels like it's like a guy who's like, please come on, man, just help me do this movie. I need a guy to be in the movie. He's like, I don't really want. He's like, come on, please, I'll be your best friend. He's like, all right, fine for you. I'll do this movie.
Come on, Norm Hole.
Be a
normal guy.
Be a normal guy, because yes, he just acts like a purely normal guy. Also, round of applause for Norm Hole. That's a great joke.
That's Family Guy.
That's a great bit. Rescinded joke. Taken away. Revoked.
Like
you're quoting Family Guy.
My favorite Family Guy bits. Brian's sitting there writing a book, and he's like, "This book, his character's main name will be Norm Hole."
Oh my!
It's just a normal guy,
and he thinks he's being super clever.
For the scholars,
Brian. good Brian reference for this episode specifically.
Yeah, because Brian,
why'd you do this? Why'd you make us watch this movie? So then there's also Zeebs, who like. I don't know what kind of voice he's putting on, but it feels offensive. Something about the way like this weird accent he's doing feels like he's like it's appropriating someone
with
somewhere.
the hair?
Yes, he's the one with the hair. Boyfriend to Sally,
He
the Dark
confused
Prince
me.
himself.
He confused me, man. Because like he was just like into music,
Yeah.
and that was it.
But he was always just like, oh, yeah, I talk like this the whole time. Everything he does is kind of like this.
Kind of felt like he was trying to be the Shaggy of this movie.
Yeah, but failing at it in a spectacular way.
Oh, absolutely.
And then we have to mention the rising star, princess of the movie,
Caspian?
Gwen. Not Caspian yet.
It's me, Gwen. I'm here. I'm from the 20s.
So immediately, the first time she is on screen, there is this character, Gwen, who is constantly waving her hands around, like pushing her head so she's like in the middle of the frame. And as she speaks as if she's from the 20s.
She's in a 20s
She's a big-time movie star.
picture.
Yeah, There are literally times where she like almost like clickety-clack, like tap dances off of screen.
Oh, she does do that.
Like it's
multiple times.
It's just, and to start out, I will say I found her completely unbearable. It is it is like your friend in school that was an actor, right? They were into theater and they were like way too into it.
Yeah.
Everything was a bit, always acting like you were on stage, like taking all of the drama goes right to your head.
I don't know, man. I love this lady.
From the moment I met her, I found her unbearable. I will say, I'll tell you now, I did grow to like her, but only because every other character was so unbearable that like she became likable by the default.
And there was something about the way she committed to her character's bit.
100%.
She was like, I am a 20s actress. That is my bit.
Yes.
I am sticking to it. It's like when they were sitting around writing this movie, they were like, hey, everybody pick their character type.
Yes.
And she was like, oh, I've always wanted to be a dancer from the 20s.
Exactly. And she just ran with that.
My mother sexed her way up the chain of Hollywood to become a famous producer.
Yeah, she grew up in like some kind of like community.
We don't need to go into
this.
this.
It's a whole. She's got lore that I super don't need to get into with her whole character.
Basically, she was in a bunch of horror movies.
Yeah, but she's like an actor. That's her. She's a big time
actor.
actor.
You've all seen me in my movies. I'm so ready to have sex this weekend.
Lord. And that is their plan. This group of friends is like, yeah, we're going to go have a sex-filled weekend, which is funny because none of them actually even end up doing that.
No,
even beyond them getting killed.
They spend more time talking about having sex.
And let me tell you. Did you
Yeah,
that's it. Then actually doing it.
I don't know what else to say, man.
No, because there are so.
I didn't want them to do it.
No, of course not. There are so many long sequences of dialogue where they just talk in some great detail sometimes about the acts of sex or just gross, vulgar comments between each other.
It felt like Howard Stern. Like that. It was that like style of quote unquote comedy that was like. We're going to be grotesque and over the top because we can.
No holds barred.
Mommy's not listening, so we can. It's like when you're a kid.
Yes.
Like when I was a kid, I had a little tape.
It's a little rebellious in the way that they're doing it.
I had a tape cassette that I would like record things on, similar to this. Oh, it all comes.
It all comes around.
It all comes back together.
Always been a podcaster.
I tape cassette. Sexed its way up the ladder so I can. No, me and my buddy Dylan. We were sitting there on the floor and like we were like recording, things
whispering
into it,
swears into the recorder.
You knew
no
it.
way.
Yes,
for real.
That's what we would do. We would just be like, ass, penis,
shit.
Whoa! Never the F1.
Never the F1. It is weird. It's funny. Like for me as a kid, I felt like there was a point where like I started, teetering, like skirting the edge of like some swear words, and there are some that I would rank lower than other ones.
Oh, absolutely.
I would have to work my way up to certain ones, or I'm like, I'm not ready for that one.
Oh yeah,
fuck's the big one. I'm not ready.
Whoa!
I'm not there yet.
I mean, even still to this day, that like gives me a little tinge.
But I remember when I was a really little kid, my cousin said crap, and I was like, Whoa, that's a lot. Gosh, and then I felt like, oh gosh, if you're saying it, I should probably start. And so I'm like, yeah, crap. Oh, ooh.
Well, I know.
Kind of tingles on your tongue.
Growing up, suck was like the worst word you could say.
Yeah.
Like no one said suck.
No, yeah.
And I remember
all the lower tier swear words were like scary.
Like I would be like vacuum the floor, saying like the vacuum doesn't suck, and go,
God, terrible.
This bit's over.
Yeah, but this movie did not have that same problem because it just goes into incredibly gross details sometimes.
It feels like that vibe.
The way that these friends talk between each other is just despicable. And it's like, I would not be friends with people who like spoke this way and about the things that they do. They're just incredibly crass. And like, honestly, like I'm not going to repeat any of what they say to you on this podcast here. If you were curious enough, check it out. Go see it. If you really need to. Brian, you already know how it goes in here.
It's like, I don't know. Nothing like offended me, except I mean, there are a few slurs in this movie.
Yes, a couple of moments.
Basically, no reason.
No, exactly.
It was the 2008, 2009, and they, for some reason, people thought it was fine to say these words.
Yes, there's comedy and saying the R word. Like that's just it's not. It's 2025 now.
Not.
No, it's bad.
I mean. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't want to repeat it.
No, exactly. It's terrible. They're all so gross and way too comfortable with each other.
Oh,
There's the main guy, I call him the main guy, the normal guy, I guess, Norm Hole, Ben. He walks up to this one girl that he sees who's just swimming in the lake. And he helps himself to like check her out, and he just already makes like gross comments about like her body as soon as he meets her.
Yeah, that was the thing. Like in this movie, is
it's not charming.
Everyone talked to each other in like a, "Hey, we just met. Hey, I just met you, and this is crazy. Here's your titties. Please give them to me."
Yeah, like really, that's exactly the vibe of every character in this movie.
And it's literally the vibe of this movie.
No, exactly. But then, like, just the dialogue backs all of their nastiness up. And even this new girl that this guy walks up to, because she, after he makes gross advancements towards her and she doesn't automatically, like, blow him off and say, "You're gross, leave me alone," there's a lot of fart humor throughout this movie.
Too much, man.
Way too much. But when we first meet this character, I think her name is Megan, if I'm right, if I'm remembering that right.
Ashley.
Ashley. So when we first meet her, there's a fart that happens with her, and she says, "I just shit my swimsuit." Later, and leaves, and then the guy turns directly to the camera and says, "What a woman!" Like, what?
I don't know,
what are we doing?
Everybody in this movie is a fetish for poop.
Yes, it's gross. My favorite part of the movie watching experience was Derek saying, "Stop saying references to things I like."
Well, there's a moment.
There were a couple moments, actually.
Oh, my God. There's a specific moment, though. I remember the specific moment that I said this line.
Yes.
I was so pissed because they're all talking about bands that they like and how metal they are and how, like, dark and gritty they are. And they're like, "No, the best rock band ever is Nightwish."
Oh, that's right.
Nightwish.
Because the goth girl, because of course the one goth band she knows of is Evanescence, right?
Oh,
so
yes.
she's like testing him. She's like, "You ever heard of Evanescence?" And she says it like that too, like holding it out. He's like, "No, I prefer the one real, like female-led, like rock band or whatever." And he's like, Nightwish. And you were pissed because you're like, "I listened to Nightwish."
Me and Emily went to a Nightwish concert together when they came to Utah. Like,
Nightwish does kick ass.
They're incredible.
Yeah.
And I hated it so much.
But yeah, references to
Here's
bands
the problem,
he knows.
though, man. That girl in this movie, she was at that concert. I swear to God.
She was real. There were several of her there.
Multiple people like her. Stop.
It's too real. It's too real.
I don't want to be part of your stigma.
No, that's the worst part. Yeah, it's like, don't make me a part of this. Don't lump me in with you, please. There's a reason that the stigma exists, and it's because of people like that who make it hard to be fans of people like Nightwish or Evanescence or Tim Burton and Hot Topic, all of it.
I mean, I guess that's a thing. It's like, so I'm in a Star Wars parody, right?
Yeah.
And someone the other day said, "My husband's a closeted Star Wars fan."
Fair.
And I was like, Star Wars is one of the most mainstream.
It's a big, like, there are lots of other things you would get made fun of before Star Wars.
Yeah, but I don't feel like we live in a time where you have to be like, I have to keep this a secret to myself. Like, I think there's a lot to be said of like owning your fandom and knowing it.
Yes.
I do feel like we're huge into Magic the Gathering. Oops,
Yes.
just outed ourselves as nerds.
Oops. Oh no. Oops, all nerds.
But that is one, like, I don't always like talking about it because
I feel a little sheepish about.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. And I just don't find myself having those feelings about something like Star Wars.
No, exactly, right? It's a fairly mainstream, owned by Disney now, like popular. It's got its whole land at Disneyland. Like, everybody at least knows of Star Wars. I don't think there's the stigma of like liking Star Wars makes you a nerd anymore, you know? Like, it's a fairly normal thing, honestly.
Yeah, but like, I think all fandoms have their place in the world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it's interesting. It was just such a strange, it put me in such a weird headspace.
Yes.
I was just like, he's a closeted Star Wars fan.
What's funny though is like I remember as I was younger, like I remember like there's always this big worry about being and looking cool, right, and being perceived as a cool person. And as I grow older, like I've realized this sounds super corny, but I'm like the coolest thing you can do is like your thing wholeheartedly, like proudly be you and yourself.
Absolutely.
I had an old coworker who had himself his own fandom. I won't out any of that here onto this. I don't want to start the discourse about said fandom, but he's a part of this one fandom that you would deem as a very cringy, like the opposite of Star Wars. You say this like I don't want to say this out loud to a bunch of people. He is so proud, stands in his truth, 1,000%, has no shame about it. And because of that, I had so much respect for him as a person. I was like, absolutely. Hey, listen, that's not my thing. That's your thing, whatever. But damn, you were so like proud of it that you come off as like a cool, confident person.
Absolutely.
So like just stand in your truth. Absolutely do that thing. Wow. Yeah, way to go.
Don't clap yourself.
No, I'm clapping for you because you're clapping for me. I'm applauding, you're applauding.
Who's going to applaud my applause?
But anyway, so there are cringy characters in this movie. Lots of them. So we've been talking, we've been goofing and gaffing a lot around here. And you might be asking yourself, where the hell is this scarecrow killer that is supposed to be taking them out? I myself was wondering the same goddamn thing. We're about 40 minutes into the movie and still have had 0 kills.
Which is halfway.
Beyond the first one, beyond the first kill. But it takes us so long. Eventually, after so much hemming and hawing around the point, we get this part where they're about to have like a sleepover with each other, and they're telling like ghost story sleepover style.
We should mention Caspian.
Caspian is apparently
Hello, it's me, Caspian.
The caretaker of this house, who is also the same actor that plays Leo, that hick who warned them about the house.
Which is
same actor as him, just in a different wig. It's like this like black
and
afro.
No mustache.
Yeah, and no mustache this time. And he is a character and a half, to say the least.
He spends there's like a 10-minute scene where he's just deep-throating a banana.
Yeah, and he is one of the most like worst offenders of like the vulgar nastiness, like
Did I repeat myself?
Gross character. No.
There's a 10-minute scene where in the background of the scene he's just deep-throating a banana.
He just gets into, he's just the most atrocious character. No, I think it's fine.
There's a 10-minute scene where he's in the background, deep-throating a banana.
And
did everyone hear that?
There's another shot. They also keep referencing his like strong calves for no reason.
Oh my god, he keeps putting his calves up on the table and flexing them.
And they make references to the fact that like he has a small wiener but like big calves, so he makes up for it there.
He stores his cum in his calves.
That's what he says. He really says that. It's so gross.
It sounds like something we would say in this. Oh god.
Oh god. Are we Caspian? Oh no. There were several times throughout the movie where Derek was like, if we were cast in this movie, I would be Caspian, wouldn't I? Not in a proud way, just like, oh damn it, that's the character I would play.
Because it was like the comic relief character who was just like saying random bullshit, and that's just what I do.
Yeah, and that's really what this character was. So he is the one telling this ghost story. He none of them, by the way, make any reference to the fact that their friend Hambone is not here.
Yeah,
none of them are like, gosh, Hambone should be here at his own cabin. That's kind of strange. Like, no concern for Hambone, their friend. So, but anyway, there's this stranger to them. Caspian is like, oh yes, I'm the caretaker of the house. I'm good friends with him.
I have a shirt that says "I do me."
I do me. Yeah, it's terrible. But so he starts telling this big backstory about Jimmy Van Brunt, who basically was this nerdy kid who got bullied so bad that they like there was like some prank tried to be played on him where they tried to burn him. So in order to escape, he hid inside of a scarecrow, which doesn't make any sense because scarecrows are made of hay.
So I don't know what was happening when this was happening, but I missed that.
Yeah, no, so that's basically
There's a good solid amount of this movie that you kind of disassociate and you just don't watch.
Honestly, there were moments where I found such respite in us laughing at something crazy ridiculous that happened and we were remarking on it so that I didn't have to focus on what they were saying.
It's so real.
That is so unbearable. I was like, can we keep riffing on how stupid that bit was? Because I don't want to listen to them anymore.
Yeah, man.
But so this kid, he burns up inside of a scarecrow, so that's why the killer's like this burnt up, they're the scarecrow killer, right? Yeah. Okay, a decent backstory, fine, whatever, right? But so this is one of the bits where we were cackling, laughing at the craziest part. Caspian tells this ghost story, and he goes, "All right, well, time for me to get my booty sleep, not beauty sleep, booty sleep." And he's. How does he leave the scene?
He slouches back, and then someone off camera...
He's sitting on the floor, like beneath the couch.
And someone off camera grabs his legs and pulls him off of the screen.
And he just goes, ah! And that's just a completely...
But they continue talking over where his body was. No one reacts. No one comments on the fact that he just slid away.
But again, so like within the world here, obviously there's not some person that pulled him away. He just got sucked away screaming, and they're all like, whatever, that's just Caspian. Kind of a weirdo, I guess.
I actually died. Arguably one of the funniest
That was
things
the
I've
funniest
ever
parts
seen
in the movie. Made funnier by the fact that nobody commented on it.
And it was so ridiculous, it's so stupid. Right?
Yes.
Like,
absolutely.
I don't even know how much we were laughing at the action, more of the fact that it happened.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
So let's get into the killer here, because they finally show up after a while. The friends start slowly
Jimmy Van Brunt?
Yeah, Jimmy Van Brunt.
Oh,
who also
Brunt.
And it's like they were trying to do like Friday the 13th with the like that kind of like iconic sound, but doing it very poorly. Not only in the way it was done, but also the way it was edited too, just repeating Brunt. Like it doesn't work. Even what I did there was better than what they did. It's terrible. So Jimmy Brunt finally shows up because, eventually they kind of split off on their separate ways. Snake is the first one to go. And I was so sad.
We're not going to talk about how Snake died? Or...
Oh, no, we can get there. But I'm so sad because the killer talks. And he talks a lot.
Dude.
And it seems like they're kind of making a joke about the fact that he's like incredibly effeminate. Like it comes off as a very gay character.
Well...
And that almost is sad because I'm like, are we supposed to be laughing at this? Making a character gay does not make it funny. That's just offensive.
It was very offensive. It should be noted that the guy who plays both Caspian and no, they are different people.
No, Hambone. Hambone is the same actor that plays the Scarecrow Killer.
Oh, never mind.
Which is super weird.
I was going to say, the guy who plays Caspian is one of the writers for this film.
Right.
And I think that's important to note because he has like some of the most dialogue in the
most dialogue and some of the most offensive ones too. It's one of those where I'm like, he has to be the writer because he's so okay with saying some of the things that he says.
Absolutely.
And again, like I cannot describe to you how like nasty some of the things they say in this movie get. They really, really push the envelope sometimes. But so how does Snake die in this movie?
Well, he gets a corn cob right through his butt.
Yep.
Goes right through his wiener.
And so it's like, okay, no, that's Zeebs. That's how Zeebs dies.
Oh, he gets corn cob in the eye.
Corn cob in the eye, and he just like twists it up. Well, actually, first, what did he cut it with? Because first what happens is probably the only...
Oh, it's a saw.
Right. The only good... Why does he have a saw and then not later? Now I'm thinking about this. He starts off with a saw, and then every other kill is done with a corn cob. Which also, why a corn cob? Just because he died as a scarecrow?
I'm not gonna lie, man. I really thought that was a Trolls 2 reference.
That's fair.
I'm like 90% positive.
If it is, I would respect it a little bit more. Yeah. But the only good, like, practical effects moment here is when Snake is holding his hands up to stop the killer, and he takes the saw and chops off 3 of his fingers, and like blood starts to squirt out of them.
Good. I mean, it was obviously fake.
Yeah, like it's not incredible, but like because of the rest of this movie, it was pretty okay. Like it was a pretty good effect. But chops off his fingers, then takes this corn cob and shoves it into his eye.
Yep.
And so we can basically just talk about the kills of this one because it's just a lot of the characters having nasty dialogue that I don't want to talk about.
Yep.
So then the next one to die is Zeebs. He dies because, he gets... Yeah, Derek, please tell us about how this one happened.
Well, it just goes right through his butt and through his wiener.
Through the front. Yeah, so like straight from the back all the way through the front.
That's it.
And then... I think he just dies from that.
He breaks his neck, I think.
Yeah, something like that. And then Sally, his girlfriend, she also dies. That was... Both of us remembered at the same time.
So... He puts a vacuum in her.
It's hard. This one's nasty for those of you who have a weak stomach. It's pretty brutal.
I'm gonna be tame with how I explain it. He puts a vacuum in her, which was just a vacuum tube
connected to a battery. That's all it was.
He sucks out a bunch of her body fat and then he puts it into her mouth and makes her choke.
She dies on that basically. And that's nasty.
Which is like such a brutal kill for a very tame movie.
Yeah, that one was honestly a bit much for me. I'm like, that's just, and the sounds of it all too. Like it's really, really bad. So we'll stop our marathon of kills here for a second to bring up the fact that there is another character who's got their own separate plot line happening. Yeah, Thunder Ambrosia.
Thunder Ambrosia.
She runs into Leo, the Hick character, and she flirts with him to get him to drive her to Bloodfire Lake. She's like, I need to get there for revenge. And we're like, why does this need to happen?
Yeah, Mind you, mentioned something about her brother.
Yeah, she's like, my brother, there's revenge he has to do up at the camp, whatever. She needs to get there really bad. There is a completely unnecessary sequence where she does get nude, and there's a bit of like a sex scene between the two of them, between Leo and Ambrosia for absolutely no reason.
I wouldn't really call it a sex scene. I would more call it she takes her top off.
Yes.
then he holds her
They
and
kind of
bounces her.
slam their bodies together. It's just nothing about it
But
is
his
good.
mustache comes.
Oh.
I don't know if you remembered that part.
He says that line when she's like flirting it up with him.
And then there's a bunch of white stuff on his mustache.
She's also like trying to sleep with him because she's like, I need to
She needs to recharge.
It makes me a stronger warrior is having sex with you. Like it just
We don't need to say anything else
I
about
know
that
we
scene.
don't need to, but I'm like, how much did they pay you?
It almost crossed some lines. But
how much did they pay you to do this role?
Theory
Thunder
confirmed that there was
Ambrosia?
going to be one character in this.
And their sole purpose was just to get naked for a
Yeah.
scene. And it's just nasty. But yeah, so she's on her way. She's on her way to the lake. She's recharging for some reason, charging up her power to get revenge on someone at Bloodfart Lake.
Yeah.
We have no idea. But yeah, so then what is happening now is we see now at this point there's Gwen, there's Ashley, there's Ben, right? They're the main characters of this thing.
Yeah.
They get kidnapped, they get bonked by the bonked with like a plastic baseball bat and kidnapped, tied up poorly, I will add.
Oh.
They're literally holding the ropes to their bodies.
And they needed a script supervisor or continuity director because
Yes.
there were so many times where the camera would go away and would come back and the ropes were on them less.
Yes, every single
Almost
scene.
every single time. It was very funny.
But so we get this crazy twist reveal, which earlier in the movie there was a line that Caspian said that kind of made it be like, you seem like you might be a sketchy character. And it turns out he is. He is working with Jimmy Van Brunt and like killing people at this camp or at this lake for some reason, right?
Yep.
Doesn't really explain his motives behind it. He just is doing this.
He's just doing it. Well, he says it's because his parents. He killed his parents because
Yes.
they bought his sister.
His sister is Ambrosia. Ambrosia
Yeah.
does show up to save the day. Her and Leo show up. They're like, "Oh, I'm here to enact my revenge." Straight as soon as this part I actually loved. As soon as Ambrosia walks in the door, bam, 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 bam. She just shoots.
Yeah.
She shoots Jimmy Van Brunt to death. She does not
Absolutely.
waste a second.
No.
It's so funny to me.
So then we find out that the reason Caspian is doing this is because his parents bought both him and his sister records.
yes,
He bought her
a Prince record.
a Prince record, and him a cassette tape
Yes,
of the
not a
band
record.
from That Thing You Do, the movie with Tom Hanks. What?
And so like, and we're like, surely that's not the reason because Ambrosia says that. She's like, is this because of this? He's like, absolutely. They should have known I love Prince way more than you. I'm like, you turned into a murderer.
Turned into a psychopathic murderer.
Because your parents did not get you the Prince record?
Bought you the tape from that band from That Thing
What
You Do.
are we doing? What is happening? There's also some brief mention of the fact that like Caspian felt like he really got control of his life when he found this spell that made it so he could bring Jimmy Van Brunt to life and start killing people. Like, now there's spells involved in this? What is happening? So then they all start
Oh my
this
god, I just remembered how the movie ends.
commence this dramatic fight scene between Thunder Ambrosia, Leo, and then Jimmy Van Brunt, all fighting each other. Where for some reason in the middle of this, Leo and Ambrosia start having sex again. She's fully clothed, but it doesn't matter why
so is he.
why in the middle of this fight scene did they just decide to have
just dry
sex?
humping
Yeah,
on a tree.
it's just awful. The
Listen,
choreography for their
they
fight
paid
is
for her
terrible.
for one reason, and they were going to get their money's
Truly
worth.
felt like they got it. And Derek actually mentioned this. It really felt like they only had like one day, one afternoon to film with her. Almost all of her scenes are only her and the actor who's playing Leo.
And there is one scene where you see one other actor with them.
Yes.
But that's it.
But the way that they felt, it felt like truly they had filmed
It was so
everything
separate.
else and then her stuff separate to be added in later. Like it felt really choppy the
Which
way that
is
they were
actually
done.
probably very possible because she was the only one that she's the only one with a credit on IMDb too.
The only one with a picture on IMDb.
and the
mind
only
you.
one with credits like
Yes.
that are outside of this film.
Yes, so bless
she was
her.
definitely just purchased. Like they definitely reached out to her.
Absolutely. But so come back to our favorite character now because every character is like outed themselves as being just like despicable, deplorable. All of their scenes run way too long. I love Gwen now. Gwen, our wonderful 20s flapper girl.
Looks like I'm going to die. What's going to happen?
She gets stabbed with the corn, I think.
Oh no!
From
I've been
behind.
stabbed in the side with corn.
And this is another great sequence in this
Call
movie.
my mother. Mother, I need lights. I need camera. I need action.
She
I'm
dies
dying.
in a black and white sequence of like this whole monologue.
Turn on the gramophone.
Where
mother.
it's complete with like film grain over it, like this old timey music playing. Yeah, and she has a moment with like every character still living. It's like, I'll always remember you in the
you were
times that we
always there
shared.
for me.
Yeah, and then she she finally finishes on Jimmy. Jimmy is the one that Jimmy Van Brunt, the killer, and he's like, well, and then just snaps her neck and she's dead. And when he snaps it goes back into color, which I kind of liked.
It was great.
It was a fun little moment, but just a strange aside moment with that character that took like 5 minutes out of the movie of just her ranting and rambling to the camera about nothing.
Easily the greatest
yes.
moment in the movie.
So after this horrible fight scene, Gwen dies. They finally manage to stab the Scarecrow in the head with some cord and then kick him into the lake. And then,
are we really here? I don't know if I want to talk about this.
I don't know either.
Content warning, I guess.
Content warning. We will do our best to talk around this, but it is so horrible. So she has a gun. Ambrosia has a gun. She could just kill her brother Cassian with that, but that is not enough.
No.
She trained with
parasites.
Sasquatches. She learned this method from Sasquatches in the mountains.
Yes.
To store parasite leeches within herself.
Within her bowels.
That she's been growing within her for the past couple months, she says.
Yeah, that's important.
And she says the best way to kill her brother is with her powers. She has to fit him inside of her. The parasites will kill him, and then she will expel him out.
So basically, in layman's terms, she has to have her brother shoved up her butt.
Yeah.
Which he will then in turn be eaten.
Yeah.
And then get pooped out as a bunch of bones.
And that happens. That comes to pass. And it's as awful as you could imagine it was. It was so hard to watch. Everything about it was terrible. Just
literally
just
terrible in
terrible.
every single way.
My God, was it terrible. And then that's it. That's pretty much the end of the movie.
That is the end of
the movie. Ends with literally Ambrosia going like, does anyone have a moist towelette or something like that?
Final words of the movie.
And that's it. And then credits roll. My God, my God, my God, my God, we did it. We finished the movie. It's done. Do you need a breather? Because we need a breather. I need a moment,
No, let's get into our expectations.
Yeah, let's get into our expectation results here. So I said, what's the opposite of absolute cinema? Whatever it may be, this movie is that. That is what this movie is.
Yeah. One actor will be in this movie just to be nude. Absolutely. I mean,
Check.
she was just in there as a sex symbol.
Absolutely.
That's the whole thing.
I said, I pray it doesn't take itself too seriously. And I don't even know what this movie thought of itself. It was so all over the place, messy, dumpster fire. I could not tell you whether I was right or wrong about that. Truly.
I do actually want to give a shout out to Nicola Fior, the lady who played Thunder Ambrosia, because she was fun.
Yes.
Like what she was giving was better. Like you could tell she knew she was in a stupid movie and was just hamming it up.
Exactly, but like to the right degree. And that's what you need, an actor that can do that.
Yeah.
They understand what they're getting into.
She was easily the strongest actor in the movie.
Because honestly, every other character, I could not tell sometimes, like, is this a character you're doing, or are you really like this? Like, Gwen, obviously, she was a character, right? Like, that was a whole facade.
How do you know?
Or maybe not. Maybe she thinks she's a 20 flapper, 20 actor, or whatever.
20 flapper.
But then, like, characters like Sally, I'm like, you are too believable. You could really be this kind of person, and I have no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
So yeah, that was me. That was my second one. What about you?
No attempt to actually be a good movie. It did feel like a purposefully B movie.
Yes.
And they went too far with it.
Too far.
Like,
every way.
You can make a bad movie on purpose. This was not the way to do it.
No, absolutely
this was
not.
Way too far. Way too far.
Way out there. I said there was going to be like one good practical effects moment. And I mean, like, yeah, I would argue the one bit with the fingers being cut off, like that was just fine. But again, in the grand scheme of the whole movie, it was fairly impressive.
Yeah. Another expectation I definitely hit on the nose. Each character will have a unique personality gimmick. Absolutely.
God, were they unique between themselves.
Every
Crazy.
person.
I said just a fine killer, and honestly, he really should have just been silent. Like, we didn't really talk too much about the lame gimmicks and lines that he gave, but like, all of his lines really, like, I really wish the killer was just a silent killer, and that would have made him so much scarier, I think,
absolutely.
personally.
No effects at all, just goofs. Yeah. Some bloody corn.
That's about it. And my last expectation was just insanely raunchy and offensive, and I have no words.
Yeah.
Yes to every degree, I'd say.
Middle school improv. Oh my God. Oh my God. It was just watching a bunch of middle schoolers be cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Should we discuss our surprises, Derek? Because I don't have many.
I have two.
It was so much worse than I could have ever expected. Second one, it just kept getting worse and worse. I have to say, I guess I am surprised, like the funny bit with like Gwen and her like black and white death.
Yeah,
that was a funny
worked.
sequence. Yeah. And then, it was basically just almost porn at some times. Like truly, that was it. So yeah, those are my surprises.
I mean, it was only really basically porn in that one scene.
The one sequence, yeah.
But it was extreme for basically no reason.
Yeah.
This movie drained me. I've never been drained so bad by a movie. The amount of crudeness really surprised me. Like, I expected it to be crude because of the name of the movie.
But the lengths they went sometimes.
Some of the things they said, like, nope, not going to say it.
Again, like, we are sugarcoating it so much.
We really are.
If you truly feel like that is up your alley, you can go find out what the dialogue was like.
It was just wild, man. It was like they were trying to one-up each other, too.
Yes.
And then finally, the last surprise, I just added it. Him getting pulled away actually was hilarious.
That was so funny.
That was actually so funny.
Why they did that, what made them think about it, but that was just hilarious, honestly.
All right.
Verdict time. We got a brand new title here for this one. It is That Was Unspeakable.
Oh.
The only reason we were able to stomach this movie was because we had other friends in the room who helped us laugh at how ridiculous it was. Thank God for that. If it was just the two of us, I feel like we would have turned it off. Maybe.
No, I don't know. We've
Maybe
sat through
not.
worse.
That's true. But there were a couple of moments that were so outlandish, we were cackling laughing at it, but we had to cling desperately to those moments in order to live through the movie. The dialogue was so grotesquely vulgar and never ending. The plot goes nowhere. It was hardly a horror movie at all. Why have you done this to us, Brian? Who hurt you?
I did. That was punishable, and then in parentheses, by law.
Yes.
This movie was every bad trope, every bad dialogue, every cringy acting technique, all packed into this mock Hot Topic fueled reference mess. The shocks in it mainly came from the slurs and the crazy story beats. But I'll give it this. I laughed, I screamed, and I had a decent time with friends. So maybe don't go on a sex-fueled vacation alone. Take some friends.
Hey, not bad. Yeah, I'd say we have to have asterisk here. Is not only is fun with friends, is only fun with friends.
Only fun with friends.
Don't go watch this movie alone. Please have one other person you can just laugh at the ridiculousness with this. And I'm going to start reading the trivia here from Count Trivia, who did not want to appear in the face of this movie.
What?
He said absolutely not. That's vulgar. This is disgusting. No. He told me he can't make an appearance today.
Blah blah.
Whoa, Count Trivia!
I'm in Derek now.
We've never been able to do this before.
How's it going?
We have never spoken to you man to man. Wow.
Do you have any questions?
I have so many questions. How much trivia could you find for this movie? Looks at my notes.
2.
2. Okay. Let's get into them. Yeah, well, it was just like with Derek trying to find information about this movie, finding trivia for this movie, nothing about it. So I'll just tell you the only 2 bits of trivia that I could find. Towards the end, a woman threatens people with a pistol. It looks a little bit like a Colt 45 automatic, but it is a Model 1010 Marksman BB gun. When she, quote-unquote, fires it, it sounds like somebody pounded a sofa pillow with a stick. That's it. That's not trivia. That's just a personal opinion about the model of the gun. That's
dead.
That's just like saying towards the ending of the movie, there are 2 characters who are tied up, but it does not look like they are tied up. It appears that they are holding the rope to themselves.
This may be because when they were off screen, they were shuffling around.
It's not trivia. And then the only other bit of trivia I could find was Nicola Fiore's first nude scene.
Nice.
Period. That's it. That's all it is. Guys, we did it. Brian, we did it for you.
Suggest us another movie, man.
Let this be a lesson. Yeah, let us get up on that and say, guys, we will watch that movie you suggest to us if you suggest it to us.
Send us a message. It's on the link.
That's all you got to do. Just hit us up.
Every single platform.
Every platform. Hit us up and say, hey, I think you guys should watch this movie because you know what? We will almost certainly give it a try because we tried Terror at Bloodfart Lake, an unspeakable criminal movie.
That movie was punishable by law.
So next week when you join us, or next week when you listen to this, or
I'm actually excited for this one.
Yeah, so Derek, what are we going to be watching?
We're going to be watching
next?
Opus from
new
this
movie,
year.
2025.
I was actually kind of excited for this movie because I love John Malkovich and I love Ayo Adbiri. I was really sad that I probably destroyed her name. She was in The Bear, and a bunch of other stuff.
Wonderful actress.
I was excited for this movie because I loved The Menu, and it felt like another The Menu, but with a musician this time around.
Yes, and
apparently that is
to it.
The problem with the movie is that it's too close to The Menu.
Oh, really?
That's what people are saying.
Oh, no.
So I'm interested to see why it's getting such bad reviews. It's a 40% on Rotten Tomatoes. A young writer travels to the remote compound of a legendary pop star who mysteriously disappeared 30 years ago. Surrounded by a cult of sycophants and intoxicated journalists, she soon finds herself in the middle of his twisted plan.
Yeah, so there's a bit of a cult vibe here going on with John Malkovich at the center of it.
Into it. Probably going to be bad. I'm excited to learn why.
Yeah. But I mean, 41 is pretty up there, so I think we'll find a lot of things to enjoy about it.
It's not good.
It's not good. It's not good.
We're going to watch it for this podcast.
That's true. We don't watch good movies.
But there is no such thing as a bad movie.
There's no such thing as a bad movie.
Remember that someone out there, maybe Brian, their favorite movie of all time is Terror at Blood
And
Parlor.
Brian, listen, they need people like you to love these kinds of movies, to give them these reviews, make it a 50% on Rotten Tomatoes from the popcorn meter.
Lord. I mean, there were only 5 reviews.
Yeah. So, but yeah, thank you for joining us and listening to this. Please send in your movie requests if you have any. You see a horror movie, you're like, wow, this was terrible. I want to hear you guys and your takes on it and riff and goof about it. Talk about Ninja Turtles more than you talk about the actual movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, so thank you for joining us. We will not send you on your way, of course, without your Garfield horror scope. We left you a whole week without it.
I know.
It's time to fix that, right those wrongs. So here's your Garfield horror scope for this week. Jim Davis, bless you, has given us another Garfield comic.
Sneeze?
And this one, no, I'm sure he probably somewhere.
Okay.
That's for past sneezes. All sneezes that Jim Davis has done have now been blessed, in case nobody got to it.
What a nice guy.
But so we see in this week's comic, Garfield is on a scale, and the scale is automated and telling him, "Hey, you're fat," and that's not very nice. Derek, who do you want to be? Do you want to be the scale, the Garfield?
Absolutely, I'm the scale.
You're the scale, okay.
That's very obvious.
Then I'll be the Garfield in the situation then.
So Garfield argues with the scale and says that he's just big boned, and the scale is like, no, you're big boned and you're in major denial. And I think it's really important to have friends in your life who will call you on your bullshit.
We'll be honest with you, right?
Yeah. Like, it's really good to have your friends who will, like, support you and be nice to you and everything. But it's also really good to have that one friend, like Garfield Scale, who's like, you are big boned, but you're also in major denial about your weight, and you should get some help.
And it's important about the delivery of that kind of stuff, right? Because I feel like there's some people who are like, I'm just honest, and people don't like that. No, you're just an asshole. No. Like, there's a difference, right?
You got to say it from a place of genuine care.
Exactly, right? Like, you have their best intentions at heart. Exactly. And in this instance, like, in the inverse of that, let's say it's not like a trusted friend who has your best interest at heart. It's just someone bullying you. Maybe, like, let's say the scale is a bully in the situation. Be Garfield. Stand up for yourself. Tell them, I'm not fat. I like the way I look. I'm just big boned. That's me, and that's how I feel about myself. I'm not going to put a label on it like fat and feel bad about myself.
Exactly.
This is me. I'm Garfield. I'm big boned. Get used to it. So that's what I say you take into your weeks for your Garfield horror scope.
Hi, it's me, Garfield. Yeah, it's me.
Hi, it's Garfield. It's me. Yeah, it's me. The Garf. That's me. The one from comics. Garfield from comics. It's me.
I'm too tired. I want to go to bed. That movie wrecked me.
Thank you. We have been Derek and Isaac from That Was Horrible from social media. And if you want to find us on our social medias, we are on Instagram at that_was_horrible, Twitter at TWH Podcast, Facebook at That Was Horrible Podcast, YouTube at That Was Horrible, and TikTok at That Was Horrible. We've got to get out of here. We're going to get pulled away by our feet. As always, Garfield be with you. Stay spooky.
Goodbye.